While out visiting family, I found a blessed goodwill with a fantastic selection of films. A few that I grabbed were The Doors, a film by Oliver Stone, which I didn't actually know until I looked at the DVD cover. Weird Science. Now, I haven't been a big John Hughes fan. I think a few of his films are quite dated, and I don't think they have the impact that they did back in the 80s, but I've never seen Weird Science. Stagecoach from John Wayne. John Wayne is such a little asshole. He's really just an overall historical dick. Das Boot, the director's cut. Lovely little big film. Actually, I haven't actually seen it, but I know that this film has been lauded in the past, and the title is called Das Boot, and I just like saying Das Boot, so I have to watch this film. The Sound of Music, not necessarily my favorite musical, but like I said, I'm trying to diversify, and it's a classic film. It's a film you have to be able to know and understand and have watched before. And finally, The Boondock Saints. I hadn't seen this film before, but I saw that Willem Dafoe was in it, so I just really thought I should check that out. Now to the review. But before that, let me get to the drink I'm drinking so that I can talk in front of a camera. The drink this week is coconut water from Kirkland brand, which I believe is Costco, a glorious institution. Now, you'd think Moana coconut water, isn't that a little crass? Isn't that a little easy of a decision? Well, I always like the easy decisions, especially to my detriment. And I've never been known to be a very serious thinker. So this was my inevitable conclusion when I saw this in the fridge. I thought, coconut. That is what I would like to drink. And so I shall. Cheers. Oh, actually, that's a little worse than I thought. I just thought it'd be okay, but it was not that good. After receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey to the far seas of Oceania and into dangerous, long-lost waters for an adventure unlike anything she's ever faced. Understanding Disney's current role in media has made it difficult for me to support any project of theirs, much less a sequel without the driving talent that made the first one so successful. The most egregious thing about them is that their projects are so unbearably safe. They leave no impact because they never try to be anything more than mind-numbing entertainment. Just look at their animation style. It makes no attempt to be beautiful. It's a style that feels so confined to the live-action world. What about this project makes it necessary to use animation? They should use the inherent freedom that makes this medium great. Now, that being said, this movie had more to it than I was expecting going in. Its thematic dive into existentialism was a breath of fresh air. However shallow they crept, it was more of an adult theme than I expected it to be. Oh, coconut water. Oh. The story reminded me in many ways of a watered-down version of The Boy and the Heron by Hayao Miyazaki. You wouldn't think so at first, but a journey into the metaphorical chaos of anguish and depression, knowing the inevitable disaster, is prevalent in both of these films, and it's a good thing that children are looking into these themes at a young age. But Disney as a whole, and this film in particular, stray away from genuine emotional turmoil. Every thought that deviates from the happy-go-lucky attitude of the story is immediately replaced by a mediocre one-liner. I understand it's a kids' movie, but Disney itself did not used to be that way. Kids need a place to feel these emotions and look at these issues in a way that's disconnected from their own lives, so that when the time comes when they're at the center of it, they can see how it's supposed to be handled. Despite my issues with the animation style, there are some visuals that pop. The water in particular and a moment inside the clam did look charming. That moment had the best song in my opinion also. And back to Coconut. Speaking of the songs, they were okay. I feel like in the times where they felt the need to play in the sandbox that Lin-Manuel Miranda gave them, it fell flat, but when they tried to do their own thing, it worked out a little bit better. I wouldn't call it the best music, but I wouldn't call it the worst music either. Dwayne Johnson wasn't as good here as he was in the first one, and I think it had a little to do with his sidelined role and a little bit to do with his character in relation to the rest of his filmography. The Rock is much more fun playing an asshole than he is a motivational speaker because he's such a motivational speaker in real life, it's not a deviation from anything at all. It's hard for the last 10 years of Johnson's filmography not to affect me for his future roles. It doesn't feel like he's pushed himself at all during that time, and it's especially prevalent when two of his co-workers have been doing some of their best work. I just can't wait for that Safdie movie, because in theory, he has unlimited charismatic potential to harness. This is one of those reviews that made me like the movie less as I was reviewing it. It's not all bad, it has its parts, but as a whole, it's a widely forgettable picture. I'm going to give this movie a Franklin, and it's kind of funny that that's the only turtle that doesn't really like the ocean in any way, shape, or form that I'm talking about. But yeah, Franklin feels like the right thing to do here. And, I wish the success for a lot of people in this movie. I think. But, I just don't like the idea of living in a world where there's so many Disney movies. I wish there was a lot less of them. So, I'm going to cheers to you with my coconut water. And maybe instead of watching a movie about the beach, you should go to the beach. Unless you're touristing in Hawaii, which you should not do. Anyway, I'm going to go now.